Okay, hi. Good morning. So, nandito na tayo ngayon sa klase natin, Knowledge and Philosophical Foundation of Social Work Profession. We are already in the week 2. Okay, so let's continue in our lesson. So, right now, we move on to the Japanese occupation. Okay, so, as we know, the Japanese came to our country around 1942 to 1944. It was during the World War II. Social welfare activities during this period consistently mainly by giving medical care and treatment. Kasi nga, kung malalaman natin, no, kung malalaman natin dito sa bandang to, bakit medical care and treatment? Kasi nga, of course, gera po. Gera, it's all about treatment lang ng mga nasusugatan, pagkain, clothing, soldiers, no? Wounded soldiers, prisoners, sila yung mga clients natin before. Okay, kung may clients pa sila yun, mga soldiers, prisoners, or even civilians. Bureau of Public Welfare was closed. Na-close po ito was when the war broke out. Relief work during Japanese occupation was primarily taken by the volunteers. Ang daming volunteers dito. Dati, Philippine Red Cross, Young Women's Christian Association, National Federation of Women's League. At the same time, despite difficulties, several hospitals such as Philippine General Hospital and St. Luke's Hospital, the Mary Johnson Hospital and North General Hospital continued to provide the medical care, food, shelter, clothing. In many instances also, churches and convents were used as centers. Diba kung makikita natin ngayon, oftentimes talaga, na-utilize yung church as evacuation center, mga medical center, and the like. And around 1945 and 1946, nagkameron ng liberation. Kumbaga, medyo yung gera dito, humupa na. Workers of the Philippine War Relief Incorporated, organized in the United States by a group of sympathetic Americans, accompanied the liberating army. They landed in late 1945. There are also other relief agencies during this time. So one of that is that Emergency Relief Office, no, on the distribution of goods. So dole out po dito, kumbaga, social welfare during these times, the programs were more focused on assistance. Okay? More focused on assistance, material aid. Emergency Commission Administration, the Philippine Civil Affairs Unit, PRATRA, and of course, UNRWA. By the United Nations Relief. Okay? The Bureau of Public Welfare reopened back of funds greatly limited its operations on October 4, 1947. Social welfare programs. The Bureau has become Social Welfare Commission, okay, or SWC, and placed under the Office of the President. This signified formal recognition of social welfare as responsibility of the state. Okay, during these times, no? So, Social Welfare Commission offered 3 categories of services. First of that is that child welfare work, and that includes parole, probation, the services, and institutional care for various groups. Second is public assistance for the indigent. This is relief and casework services, meaning pag casework services po, it is more on one-on-one. Okay, or case indigent war victims pa rin yung client nila, and physically handicapped yung mga nasusugatan, and of course the infirm, yung mga nalulumpo or mga ganon. And second is the coordination and supervision of all public welfare agencies. So ito po yung kumbaga categories ng service ng SWC dati. Okay? Coordination and supervision. Kumbaga pag merong mga unos or merong mga program, they have the power to coordinate and supervise all public welfare activities during that time. Okay? And here it comes. The War Relief Office was placed under the control of the Social Welfare Commissioning, providing additional sources of funds which enabled the Commission to increase number of provincial branches. Other activities of the new public welfare agency included, first is establishment of welfare home for the women and girls as a result of an anti-venereal disease. Okay, so dito, of course, it is according to this. Ganito kasi yan, class. Okay? Hindi sa lahat ng aspects or sa lahat ng unos, DSWD lagi yung bida. Or kumbaga yung chair. It depends kung ano yung nangyayari. For example, Kung ang nangyayari is gera, of course, yung mga frontline natin dyan is mga sundalo nakipagera. Regarding health, DSWD. But in times of those diseases, those concerning about health, na example, COVID ngayon, kung nakikita natin yung COVID, mostly talaga, DOH yung nangunguna. Okay? Welfare home for the women's and girls. Bureau of Labor, and of course, second is that setting up employment and related services under Public Assistance Department. So, yung Public Assistance Department, of course, it was more assistance, pero namimigay din sila dito ng trabaho. Okay, so, also in these times, feudalistic tenancy nangyari. Kasi, dito sa panahon kasi ni Elpidio Quirino, ang dami ditong agawan ng lupa. May ditong armed forces and dissidents, may mga raming unrest, no, sa society. Nag-aagawan ng lupa. Kasi nga, kumbaga, after the war, ito kaagad yung sinapit nila. And war accordingly and actually is actually a, kumbaga, feudalistic. Kumbaga nakikipaggera talaga yung isang country para agawin yung lupa. So hanggang sa napunta to dito sa panahon ni Quirino dati, there are a lot of dissidents and unrest creating more poverty. Alam naman natin talaga na pag gera, ang ina-expect na natin, no, mahal pa yung mga gamit, kumbaga bankrupt. Kawawa yung nation. In August 1948, President Quirino created PACSA or President's Action Committee on Social Amelioration, which was charged the duty of giving relief assistance to the hungry, the homeless, and the sick, to victims of dissidents, depredation, and violence. It included a comprehensive health program, education, welfare, agriculture, public works, and of course, financing. An international agency also made its mark, UNICEF or United Nations International Children's Fund, or ngayon, United Nations Children's Fund na, created by the United Nations Assembly in 1946 to further maternal and child health in economically underdeveloped countries, became active in the Philippines after the 1948. UNICEF now, or United Nations Children Fund. Here it comes, no? EO 396 equals, ito po yung Social Welfare Commission, the fusion of PACSA equals Social Welfare Administration na. Here comes Social Welfare Administration on January 3, 1951, Social Welfare Commission, and President's Action Committee on Social Amelioration. So, example ito, DSWD, nilagyan ko lang yan siya, kasi nga, Social Welfare Commission, isa din siya sa mga root ng DSWD natin ngayon. Fused into agency called Social Welfare Administration. So, pinuse yung SWC and PACSA na gawang Social Welfare Administration. So, Presidential Action Committee on Social Amelioration plus Social Welfare Commission. When they were fused, it becomes PACSA on January 3, 1951. Oh, hoping that's clear. Shortly after this, the new agency established as Staff Development Service began accepting social work practice students during these times. Okay? And of course, before Second World War, the Associated Charities was the agency that took care of relief for the needy and the indigent. Of course, meron silang mga katulong dito, Bureau of Public Welfare, PRATRA, WARLI, PACSA, Responsibility for Relief, and a lot more. Division of Public Assistance was placed under Division of Public Assistance. This office had two programs. So, ito po yung programs ng SWA. May division yung SWA na Division of Public Welfare. Okay? Take note ha. Yung SWA, meron siyang umbrella Division of Public Assistance. Okay? So, yun yung assistance. From the word assistance, yung more and more binibigay dito. This was given in the form of general assistance to dependent, the aged and handicap. Yung mga nangangailangan talaga. Yung mga nangangailangan, kumbaga, the least. Okay? And special assistance to the clients with needs. It's more on material aid. Yan talaga yung assistance talaga, class. Pagkain, even money. Money is an example of assistance. It is a service, okay? Transportation, no? May mga ibang tao na nalayo ng landas, naligaw. No, yung mga libreng sakay, it's a form of assistance. It's not a service, okay? Medical aid, institutional care, and work. We have here my notes. Just bear with me. And of course, the second program of SWA, under the Division of Public Assistance, is the services which was rendered in the form of rehabilitation service for employable disabled. Ganito lang, ano yung kaibahan ng assistance sa service? Mostly pag assistance, no, temporary lang yan. Kumbaga, Pag nabigay yan sa'yo, tapos ka agad. Pag pagkain, natapos mo nang kainin yan, wala na. Pag binigyan ka ng pera, baka maubos yan. Binigyan ka ng libreng sakay, temporary lang, residual formulation. Pero pag services, binigyan ka ng trabaho, nagtatagal eh. Okay, nagtatagal, pinagamot ka, no? Matagal yung impact sa'yo ng service. Okay, so, that's the programs of the government. It's between assistance and service. And oftentimes, there are a lot of non-governmental agencies or organizations na they have the both. Kasi, kumbaga kulang kasi siya. Kulang yung isang programa kung service lang, lagi, ganito ganyan, walang concrete. Okay? Kulang din yung programa kung concrete lang lagi, walang service, hindi nagtatagal lagi. Okay? Another important arm of social welfare administration was its child welfare division. So, ang dami pa. So, di ba, meron tayong division of public assistance, may nabuo din, child welfare division. So, of course, from the word itself, service under this unit include casework and guidance services for children who remain at home, case study for antisocial delinquent children. So, yung mga batang delinquent, yung nagkasala. Child protection services, child protection service, ito yung mga services class na angkop sa mga na sexually harass, no? Kailangan sila protektahan. Sometimes ipapalagay sila sa shelter kung delikado talaga sa mga home nila o sa mga bahay. Supervision for all child care institutions. Dito din, sinusupervise nila yung mga institutions. Hindi porket nandun sila sa institutions, they are safe. Okay? There's still supervision kung protocol ba, naaalagaan ba yung mga bata doon. Okay? And other services such as those dependent children and children in SWA-operated children's institution. Division of Rural Welfare. No? Meron nabuo din dito under in the Social Welfare Administration was created by Administrative Order Number 7 or AO on September 5, 1951 to deal with the mounting social problems in rural areas. Okay? Rural areas ng puto. Okay? So, in 1954, SWA was reorganized and this division developed new community programs such as self-help centers, community kitchens, and cottage industries, social amelioration program of rural areas, which was the major concern of President Ramon Magsaysay, give impetus to the new programs, Division of Rural Welfare. Division of Rural Welfare, Social Amelioration Program of Rural was created by President Ramon Magsaysay. Okay? So, just bear with my notes. President Ramon Magsaysay Social Welfare Program in rural areas concerned for social welfare manifestation in the distribution of the land to the landless. So, ganito na, no, yung nangyayari. So, I think, during dito sa panahon ni Magsaysay, even a lot more presidents, no, binibigyan ng lupa yung mga walang lupa. And, actually, hindi lang to bigay-bigay lang sa mga gustong magkamero ng lupa. Mostly sa mga binibigyan talaga class is, kumbaga, it's a form of assistance to them kasi binigyan sila ng concrete thing, may lupa na sila. But most sa binibigyan are eligible. Sino sila? Karamihan sa mga binibigyan ng lupa kasi is yung may background sa agriculture. So if you are familiar right na merong programa ngayon ang Department of Agriculture, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what the program is called. Binibigyan nila ng lupa yung mga graduate na related sa agriculture, agricultural engineering, and a lot more. Basta related sa agriculture. Okay? Kasi kung bibigyan na lang ng lupa, mostly kasi, walang nangyayari. Self-help become the underlying philosophy of rural community development during these times, okay? Rural, yung mga trainees dito is tinatawag na rural welfare workers. And of course, no, the Social Work Law, June 19, 1965, was passed. It is an act to regulate practice of social work and the operation of social welfare work agencies. The law requires the completion of the bachelor's degree. So, dapat graduate ka. 1,000 hours of supervised. Ito na yung practicum, field practice. And the passing of governmental board exam. Dapat you have the license so that you can be a social worker. The law provided for the creation of the board of examiners. They are the scholars who will craft the questions that will administer the provision. It is also empowered the Social Welfare Administration, now DSWD. So, nakikita natin ngayon, no? By my notes, no? Nalaman na natin na yung Social Welfare or SWA, it is one of the root of the DSWD, okay? So, For example, DSWD now, no, to license and accredit public and private organization social welfare. So, yung DSWD po yung nag-accredit ng mga social welfare thing regarding organizations. So, bakit pa kailangan i-accredit, kuya? Hindi ba pwedeng payagan na lang yan sila na tumulong? Hindi pwede. Kasi, they are claiming kasi as part of the society, upholding goodness and social welfare, they are, kumbaga, tumatanggap kasi yan sila ng mga million-million ng mga donations. So, it must be accredited para talaga there is a check and balances. So long as hindi siya ma-accredit, walang check and balances na mangyayari, no? Baka yung mga donations ng mga tao makurakot pa. Okay, so accreditation is indeed important. Republic Act 1973 is generally considered as the formal recognition of social work as a profession in the Philippines. Okay, so bakit? Kung tanungin mo, bakit professional kayo mga social work? Tumutulong naman kayo. Okay, it's according to the law, tapos ang usapan. Okay? The fact that social welfare administration was placed directly under the office of the president, of course. In 1968, President Marcos signed Republic Act 5416. So, paano to? 5416 meaning the SWA will be elevated into a department. Okay, so may departamento na. So, yung SWA before, administration lang, under siya sa isang kuan, sa power of the president. Ngayon, department na talaga siya. Kumbaga, kung sa political system pa natin ngayon, parte na ng gabinete. Okay? Di ba? Meron yung Department of Agriculture, Department of Social Welfare and Development. So, during this time, Marcos made it a department. Okay? The government declared social welfare a matter of policy when the law stated that it is the responsibility of the government to promote comprehensive program of social services designated or designed to ameliorate the living conditions of distressed Filipinos, particularly those who are handicapped by reasons of poverty, youth, physical and mental disabilities, illnesses and old age, or those who are victims of natural calamities, including giving assistance to members of cultural minorities to facilitate integration into the body politic. Department drew up comprehensive social welfare program. Isa dito, preventive or remedial. So, isa sa mga, actually class, no? Okay, tackle muna natin to. So, ano yung mga programa, sir, na preventive? Mitigation seminars. Kung nakikita natin yung mga NDRRMC, meron silang mga seminars na ginagawa para maiwasan yung baha or ito yung gawin pag may bagyo, may lindol. It's all about mitigation or kumbaga preventive. Piniprevent yung mga tao sa posibleng worst na mangyari. So, tinuturuan tayo ng ganito para all the more ma-prevent yung mas worst na mangyari kung hindi natin alam to. So, it's more on preventive. Remedial naman. So, yung remedial, it's more on remedying. Kumbaga, yung remedial, yung preventive kasi na program, wala pang nangyayari. You are just preventing something. Kumbaga, yung cliche dito, prevention is better than cure. Okay, yung remedial naman, may nangyari na at some point. Okay? May nangyari na sakuna or at some point, abuse or ganito, ganyan. You are just giving remedy or a first aid or gamot. Okay? Kasi may nangyari na. Programs and services for individual families and communities. Protective remedial, okay? It's all about protection, developmental services. So, isa sa mga example to this is that if mayroong prostituted woman or yung isang babae na sangkot sa prostitution, no? Prostitute. So, remedial dyan, no? Of course, maybe there's a lot of traumas, there's a lot more things, and preventive dyan na banda, baka magkasakit siya ng HIV or sexually transmitted disease, preventive dyan, no? I-seminar siya na ganito ganyan mangyayari, protectahan siya sa mga bugaw, and developmental, bigyan siya ng trabaho, ganito ganyan, vocational, no? And rehabilitation. Of course, training and research, a lot more. Okay? So, these programs were to be implemented by the Bureau of Family Welfare, Bureau of Youth Welfare, Bureau of Vocational Rehabilitation, Bureau of Field Services, and a lot more research and specialized project. The department continues most of the project and services under the Social Welfare Administration to improve them. Okay? The 70s naman, move to the 70s. Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law during set up a crisis government on September 21, 1972. Now, this was the period of the first developmental decades. Ito yung developmental decades na sinet ng United Nations to focus on developmental effort regarding poverty, to set indicators, no, how to improve health, skills, and a lot more education in adaming aspects ng developmental decades. Okay? On September 8, 1976, the Department of Social Welfare became Department of Social Services and Development. It's according to Presidential Decree 994, shifting emphasis on the traditional, often institution-based social welfare to community-oriented. Maging community-oriented tayo, wag yung institution. Kasi, dito kasi banda class kasi, sa panahon kasi ito, yung based on the analysis, no, the government kasi dito, nakapokus sa institution. Parang lahat ng pera, binubuhos sa institution, mga government-owned institutions, asylums, ganito, ganyan. Napag-iwanan yung communities, na doon nakatira yung mga tao. So, ganito, they just shift it from institution-based to community-oriented programs, okay? PD 994, DSW to DSSD. Okay, so dito na rin, department, while serving the needs of all citizens eligible, thus it decided to concentrate on the needs of 30%. Kasi nga, we really have to, kumbaga, prioritize, no? Kung sino yung bibigyan natin. Matutulungan lahat. Yun yung goal ng DSWD. Lahat matutulungan. But sometimes, second batch ka, di ba? Third batch na kayo na matutulungan. Kasi nga, we have limited resources na talaga. Hindi po tayo gano'ng kayaman to have it all. Okay? And through a package of programs of the DSSD consisting of self-employment assistance, practical skills development and job placement, daycare centers and supplemental feeding, emergency assistance, and a lot more. In 1977, these programs took the acronym SPDEPS. Okay? Just take note this. Service is delivered through barangay approach. Of course, dadaan pa rin yan ng barangay, which make use of existing political structure, the barangay, as the workers' point of entry and basis of problem identification and prioritizing. On June 2, 1978, President Marcos issued Presidential Decree 1397. So, ano yung Presidential Decree 1397? DSSD to MSSD. No, kung malalaman natin dito sa Marawi, sa BARM, no, kasi iba yung government form dito, no, from a presidential to a parliamentary. Parliamentary kasi dito. So, meron tayong mga ministry, di ba? Ministry of Social Service and Development. Yung equivalent ng DSWD sa other parliamentary or ay presidential city or form of government, DSWD. Pero pag parliamentary na yan siya, actually yung DSWD dito is MSWD. I think MSSD yata. Basta yung point dyan, the first letter, symbolizes ministry. Okay? Just bear with my notes, 1976, DSSD, so I have notes here. Rename it Ministry of Social Services and Development. 1949, the Council of Welfare Agencies of the Philippines and Community Chiefs of Greater were organized. So the council was established to study, define social welfare problems, develop coordinated plan and action, help improve, no, and concern with a greatly increased number of private agencies. So ito na yung nangyayari. Okay? Kasi meron na, ang dami ng private agencies. No, dito, nag-overlap na, inadequate standards. So, the council today continues to try to influence the quality of standards. So, sa council, meron yung council, no, ano yung mga dapat gawin, standards ng mga private agencies. The community chest was established primarily in response to the need and desirability of having one organization with the responsibility of raising funds. Okay? The motto, give once for all. In early 50s, Philippine Youth Welfare Coordinating Council was established. And of course, Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, other organizations like during this time, and Philippine Business for Social Progress have decided to emphasize community self-reliance. On 80s, no, during 80s, self-employment assistance, the ministry banner program. So, it is a loan, bigger loans to expand their, so binibigyan ng loans yung mga kliyente. The total primary approach, that guided program, put emphasis on food production, nutrition, and providing business. So the following are the among the other significant achievement of MSD. So nag-launch ng SWI or yung indicator, social welfare indicator, paano ma-measure yung isang tao qualified ba for social welfare services, okay? Primarily healthcare related activities, greater cooperation coordination of the governmental organizations, increased participation of the LGUs, coordination with the NGO'S, family planning, strong NGO local government units, no, by having 10,000 daycare centers, no, children between 0 to 6 yung daycare centers. Priority attention was given to the development of youth. Okay? Meron dito Integrated Human Resources Development Program. On January 30, 1987, Cory Aquino signed Executive Order 123, reorganizing MSSD and renaming it Department of Social Welfare and Development. The department was evolved from mere welfare or relief agency to the greater task development. Okay? So, dito din sa pagbuo ng DSWD, nagkameron din ng Bureau of Women's Welfare. Okay? It's helping women. The approach taken by the agency during this period was described as preventive, to prevent, to develop, developmental, participative, and client-managed or casework. On early 90s, 2008, dito nauso na rin yung low-income municipalities. Okay? Kasi nga, na-focus dito yung DSWD kasi ang dami dito nagkameron ng, ang daming kasing community kasi or municipalities na low yung income. Dito din sa panahon dito, nagkameron ng pagputok ng pinatubo at saka, nag-require, nagkameron ng the use of crisis incident stress debriefing, a form of crisis intervention used with victims of these disasters and other crisis situations. The agency's social workers, the DSWD, have become the major employer of licensed social workers who were given special training for this form of intervention. On October 10, 1991, Republic Act 7160 or Local Government Code, meaning the DSWD along with the national agencies have to shift gears, meaning devolving. So, ano yung devolution? Sir, i-devolve lahat. The devolution meant lahat ng budget, workers, corresponding salary, programs, assets, lahat magde-devolve to the local government units starting 1982. Devolution meant realignment, realign, yung structure ng DSWD in both central as well as field offices, resulting in much more leaner, more functional, para talaga yung pangangailangan ng mga tao mapuna. To supplement 5 development programs areas concerned, the department or DSWD retained specialized social services consisting of 4 categories: center institution-based services, community-based, locally funded and foreign-assisted programs, and disaster relief rehabilitation. Okay? So, the decade of the 90s, the DSWD moved from its traditional image of service provider to one that leads social welfare, policy formulation and program development, standard setting, and regulation enforcement, provision, and technical assistance. So, dito na, hindi lang po pagbibigay ng DSWD. There's a lot more. Capacity building and augmentation support. So, ito na yung capability building. If you are familiar, parang nagdebate dito si Sarah at saka si Lenny. Sabi ni Sarah, ipapatigil na niya yung SK kasi puro lang daw basketball, puro lang daw paliga. Sabi naman ni Lenny, Lenny has a lot of knowledge in social welfare. Sabi ni Lenny, capacity building dapat. I-train sila. Kasi yun lang yung alam kasi nila eh. So, i-train natin sila para talaga may magawa sila more on more related sa social welfare. Hindi lang kasi yung pag SK kasi parang paliga lagi yun sa utak, Parang paggawa ng mga basketball, bigay-bigay ng mga bola. According to Lenny Robredo, the Vice President, make it capability building, which is good in the face of social welfare. Okay? DSWD vision, so memorize the vision and the mission of DSWD. Okay? In 2006, year-end report of DSWDs, having intensified the implementation of pro-poor programs. Indeed, DSWD is pro-poor agency, helping the poor, which are in consonance with the medium-term development plan. Especially, it describes major final output or MFOs. Non-governmental organizations. So, ano yung non-government organizations? So, according to the constitution, overall, the country today have counties. Ang dami na nating mga NGO dito. Na-issue pa nga to NGO, mga pork barrel ng mga ganon. Thus, our 1987 Constitution provides us that the state shall encourage non-governmental association, community-based and sectoral organizations that promote the welfare of the nation. So, it's according to the constitutions that we shall encourage NGOs. According to NEDA, defines NGOs as private, non-profit, voluntary organizations that committed to tasks of socio-economic development and established family services. They are classified according to the levels of operation. First is primary NGO. So, ano yung primary NGO? So, sila yung nagtipon-tipon, they will themselves to benefit themselves. So, kung makikita natin dito, these organizations are direct organizations of the beneficiaries themselves. Like Kalari Seeds, ang dami pa, Organization of Fisher Folks. Example, mangingisda sila. Gusto nilang matulungan yung sarili nila. Bumuo sila ng NGO para sa mga sarili nila. So that they can help themselves. And sila din, naging tulong din para sa iba. Okay? The second is the secondary, intermediate, or intermediate NGO. So, ano yung secondary or intermediate NGO? So, providing services or agencies composed of different professions. So, ang dami. Ang daming NGO na ang dami nilang mga workers, social workers, psychologists, sociologists, doctors, no? Sila yan, secondary and intermediate NGO. They provide services. Kung makikita natin sa isang NGO, marami silang doktor dyan, maraming social worker, maraming psychologists, ang dami, maraming volunteers. That is called secondary intermediate NGO. Okay? Meaning, or agencies that compose different professions. So, kung may nakita kang agencies na maraming profession yung hinahire nila, that is secondary or intermediate NGO. Non-governmental. The third one, the third category of NGO is the tertiary NGO, which are usually a network of NGOs established for mutual assistance. So, ang dami. No, kumbaga para silang sister companies, okay? Parang ganon, ang dami nilang NGO. Hindi sila lang isang NGO, ang dami nilang connection, okay? For mutual assistance. Example for referral. The simpler definition of NGO is that it is a generic all-encompassing term of not-for-profit groups, civic organizations, community groups, people's organizations, social development agencies, foundations, and charitable institutions. On February 1999, the country's NGO network launched the Philippine Council for NGO, or PCNC, envisioned a self-regulatory body which, through memorandum of agreement to the Department of Finance, will be authorized to certify NGO applying for donee status based on specific standard. Okay? So, RA 4773, Social Work Law provides that no social work agency shall operate and can be accredited unless it shall have first registered to Social Welfare Administration, which shall issue corresponding certification of registration. In addition, RA 5416 of 1968 empowers DSWD to set standards, accredit, and coordinate governmental and government efforts. Okay? Other social welfare policies and programs. Okay, DSWD, one of the social sectors, no? National plan continues to assume responsibility, focusing on 30% of the population, especially on depressed areas. Okay? So, ang daming mga sectors natin. We have social sectors. DSWD is one of the social sectors. Isa pa dyan, ang daming mga sectors na belong dyan yung DOH, yung mga health sectors, economic sectors. Economic sectors belong dyan yung mga business, no? Mga business na mga agencies regarding business, DTI. Ang dami pa testa, no? Economic, it's more on economic job, labor sectors. Ang daming mga sectors. Okay, sectors like health, nutrition, housing, and economic sectors like industry, agriculture, and agrarian reform. And we have here selected legislation, PD 603, the Child and Youth Welfare Code, RA 6972, Barangay Level Total Development and Protection for Children Act 7610, 7658, no? An act prohibiting the employment. So, bawal pagtrabahuin yung bata pag below, no? So, Republic Act 7658. Bawal, no? Kuan yan, child labor, no? Child labor yan. RA 8043 or Inter-Country Adoption Act. So, if you are familiar, no, Inter-Country Adoption Act, ito yung batas na angkop sa mga Amerikano or sa mga babae na nagkameron ng asawa na Amerikano na mag-a-adopt sila ng bata dito sa country. Inter-Adoption or Inter-Country Adoption Act. Okay? Meron din tayong Domestic Adoption Act. Okay? So, local lang yan. Local adoption. Memorize that. RA 8044 on Youth in National Building Act, AO 340, Executive Order directing national government agencies and government-owned and controlled corporations to provide daycare services. RA, ito na yung sinasabi ko. Okay, so 8043, Inter-County Adoption Act, regarding adoption inter-country. Pag involved na yung ibang bansa, foreigner to this country adopting a child. Meron din tayong RA 8552, Domestic Adoption. So, Ito yung mga rules and policies regarding adoption locally. Kung Pinoy ka, mag-adapt ka ng Pilipino lang din, local adoption or domestic adoption yung tawag dyan. RA 8980, the Early Childhood Care and Development. An act promulgating a comprehensive policy of national system in early childhood care and development. So, ano yung dapat kailangan para sa bata development? RA 9231, no, worst forms of child labor. So, ito na yung mga worst forms of child labor. Mga bata pa lang, no, pinagpatatrabaho na. No, child labor yan. RA 9255, no, Family Code of the Philippines, no. RA 9344, juvenile justice. So, juvenile justice, no, ito yung an act establishing a comprehensive juvenile justice and welfare system. There is a video there, no, na bata, nagasala siya, nagnakaw siya, sinama siya sa kulungan ng mga matatanda. Yung nangyari doon, mas nag-worse. Natuto yung bata doon mag-shabu, magsigarilyo, mas worse. So, there is juvenile justice. So, yung nangyayari dito, hindi pa sila nakukulong, shelter muna sila or the institutions. Women, meron tayong sectors in women regarding RA 6525 and a lot more. And meron tayong RA 8353 or anti-rape law. If there is rape, this is the law that is angkop sa rape. So, iba din yung rape class, no, sa Republic Act 7877. So, anti-sexual harassment. So, kung ginahasa, iba din yung hinaras sexually. Okay, so yung rape talaga, there is that happened, sexual intercourse, rape talaga, and anti-sexual harassment act. Hinaras ka lang. Siguro hinawakan ka or ganito, panghipo. Sexual harassment, unlawful, no? An act declaring sexual harassment unlawful in employment, sa katrabaho, sa paaralan. Iba yan, okay? Iba yung rape tsaka harassment. Iba sila ng law. Republic Act 8505, Rape Victims Assistance. May assistance po yung rape victims. RA 9208 and a lot more, no? Bawsi law or violence against women, sinaktan verbally. Even, actually, pasok sa Bawsi law yung iniwan, no? Iniwan ng asawa. Hindi, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's economic abuse. Meaning, iniwan yung asawa, hindi sinustentuhan. Pwedeng makulong yung kuan dyan, pwedeng makasuhan yung asawa dyan, yun ang iwan. No? Pwede siyang kasuhan dyan na economic abuse sa pamilya niya na iniwan niya. Okay? It's a violence. It's economic violence. Okay? Hindi lang, and of course, there's a lot more of violence. There's varied violence. And of course, we have basic sectors in older persons and with disabilities, accessibility law, Republic Act 344, RA 7277, providing, no, Magna Carta for disabled person. And of course here we have no, privileges, yung mga discounts, mga benefits ng mga nakakatanda, mga senior citizen. It's according to Republic Act 7432, Republic Act 7876, no, Senior Citizen Center. And of course, it's expanded Senior Citizens Act RA 9257. Of course, we have here Family Welfare, EO 209, Family Code of the Philippines. Republic Act 8187, granting paternity leave, hindi lang maternity leave. Okay, family courts, it's establishing courts, no, related to family affairs. Okay, 8972, Solo Parents Welfare Act, no, providing benefits. Actually, class, may benefits yung solo parents. If I'm not mistaken, during in our field practice, no, tinatanong talaga yung isang mother, are you a solo parent? Are you, byuda ka ba? Ganito. Kasi, meron yung benefits, discount, and, kumbaga, in favor yan sa'yo. It's according to Republic Act 8972. Health, 7875. PhilHealth. Ito yung PhilHealth law, by the way, okay? PhilHealth is a law, okay? 7875. 7883, an act granting benefits incentive to accredited barangay health workers. 8344, an act penalizing the refusal. So, ito yon. Na-hospital ka, okay? Critical yung condition mo. Pagpunta mo sa hospital, sinabihan ka ng management, hindi pwede. Down payment muna. Okay, nakakatawa yan, di ba? Anyway, masaklap, no? Ang dami nang nadidisgrasya dyan. Down payment muna, no? So, bastos yung mga hospital ng mga ganun, no? So, pwede silang makasuhan dyan, no? Yung hospital. So, Republic Act 8344, an act penalizing the refusal of hospitals. So, hindi po pwede yan, no? Hindi po pwede yung down payment muna. So, hindi pwede. There's a lot of cases dyan in the news, no, na swapang yung mga hospital na mga ganun yung mga practices, no? Pera yung hanap, no? Hindi talaga sila, from the fact itself that is hospital, no? It's according to the welfare. Ano? So, parang pera yung habol, negosyo na. Hindi talaga tumulong sa mga may sakit. And RA 924, an act amending RA 7875. Labor employment. Meron din tayo Labor Code of the Philippines, no? Labor, regarding labor sa mga may trabaho, RA 7655. The minimum wage, so ito yung batas class, no, regarding ano yung minimum na sahod, no, na dapat isweldo sa mga katulong, sa mga boy. Dapat yan, there is a standard to that. Kasi nga, sometimes kasi yung mga boy kasi ng mga pamilya parang, kain lang yun, bigyan lang ng pagkain yan, boy ko na yan habang buhay. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Bawal yan sa batas, no? Republic Act 7655, no? Pwede kang makasuhan dyan, no? Na hindi mo pinapasweldo. Actually, ngayon yata, no? I think there is an amendment of this law na kailangan mo talagang kunan ng GSI, ng SSS, no? PhilHealth yung katulong mo. Kawawa naman, may iba na nga bata pa lang, may katulong na sila, lumaki, para naging ina na nila yung katulong nila. RA 7877, no? Sexual harassment in employment, education, and training environment. RA 8042, migrant working benefits. Meron din benepisyo yung mga migrant worker. 8082, social. Okay, so are you familiar with the SSS, Social Security System? So it's according to the 8282 or Republic Act. It's according to the law, okay? Provides for the employees. So kumbaga, kasi bakit ba required yung SSS sa mga public, especially in government agencies? Yun lang, kasi according sa batas, no? It's according to the law. It is, okay? RA 8291, the act amending, ito din, no? Ito din yung GSIS law. If we have SSS law, we have GSIS law. We have other laws like local government code, devolution of social welfare. Ang dami dyan regarding local government units. IPRA Act, or according sa mga indigenous groups, cultural minorities, and indigenous peoples. And social reform or poverty alleviation, no? 8425. And some government agencies, OWA, meron tayong mandate regarding the OFWs, National Housing Authority, no, the lowest 30% urban, tumutulong sila para mabigyan ng bahay yung mga tao. Public Attorney's Office, so meron tayong PAO, okay, PAO, dyan malapit sa CHARM, may PAO dyan malapit sa police station. Ang tawag sa PAO dati is Citizens Legal Assistance Office. Ngayon, PAO na siya. Free services na ba? Free legal services. Kung may agawan sa lupa, mga abuses na kailangan ng abogado, magpanotaryo ka, and a lot more. And some private social welfare agencies and NGO'S, Philippine Business for Social Progress. Private, it serves as private enterprise implementing the arm for social development. SOS Children's Village, no? Founded by Dr. Herman Gimnier. And Women's Crisis Centers, or BOW Heaven. These agencies were established for the purpose of helping eliminate all forms of violence against women. The Heaven, or Hospital-Based Crisis Center for Women Survivors of Violent Environment. The Center for the Prevention of the Treatment of Child Sexual Abuse. The Caves Philippines for the Infants. This agency serves as receiving home for abandoned, neglected infants, abused female minors. Northfield Philippines for unwed pregnant women, Tribal Development Foundation in the Philippines, no? And here it goes, the end of our week 2. So study all the discussions here. Our exam is approaching. Thank you, and